And hello, everyone. Congratulations to the doctors as well, and beautiful talk so far. Like Pawan said, I guess ERAS CV and the PS form a really integral part of your whole application. In fact, they are the application, and there's not really one particular time that fits everyone. So if you're already an applicant from the previous cycle, you kind of have an idea of how your application is going on. But if you're a person who's really starting out this cycle, I guess the more time you can give yourself, the better it is. For example, if I start with my CV, an ERAS CV used to be a place where you have n number of experiences, and from last year, I think they've cut it down to 10 experiences itself. You can add only the top 10 experiences that you think represent yourself really well and put your best foot forward, right? So people usually put in your USC, your research experiences, your voluntary experiences. Maybe if you've had some leadership experience and a couple of things like that. And they also give you a chance to put forward your primary focus and the key characteristic that this particular experience represents, right? So that is the basic structure of your ERAS CV, apart from all the education experiences and a couple of other stuff. You can also add in your research experiences, research papers that you've published. But the thing is, the best thing that you can do, like I think Dr. Chandpura has perfectly put forward, confidence is the key. And the way you want to represent yourself confidently is the key. Now, each experience that you put forward in your CV, you can also expand it by about 1,000 characters, and the way you describe it, the way it has to be represented is something that you get only and only by guidance. Fortunately, I've had panelists, beautiful panelists working with me. I've had my peers, I've had my seniors, couple of preceptors working with me, and I've I would say I was really confident about my profile going into the match. And one particular preceptor that I was working with had this mock interview with me while he was questioning about my CV as well. Now, while I was answering the questions, he did point out that the CV is perfect, but if you cannot pull off your CV and if you cannot answer confidently about your CV, if you're just if it's all on the paper, it's not going to really help you. So that is where I guess Sarthi, I would definitely give the credit to Sarthi. The mock interviews and all of it really pulled out. So I guess thank you for that. And PS is another part of it. Personal statement. I think way back in July and June, when I was going through the videos of Sardi, I think Pawan put it across perfectly. He just said, PS is not your key to getting an interview. It's just a play. It's just a way to show what kind of a personality you are. It just shows it gives the interviewer a peek of your personality, but it's never a key to getting an interview as such. So make sure that your PS represents you perfectly. It's a personal statement. If you have some 7 or 8 characteristics that you want to represent, you mention those, you quote examples, and you also mention how these make you a very good residency candidate. At the end of the day, if I'm an interviewee, I'm willing to tell my interviewer or the PD what kind of a candidate I am and how my PS portrays the same thing. And the biggest takeaway for me was your PS and CV have to complement each other. If you say one thing on your PS and if you don't follow the same thing on your CV, it doesn't just add up. It just seems fake. And I wouldn't want to hire someone like that. So especially during my interview with the program that I fortunately matched into, I guess I had this one extracurricular activity that I put in saying I had this drama club and then I was active in drama. And my PD also was interested in it. And the program happens to be in New York. We had a brief, good discussion about what Broadway is and how these things work out. So it's not all about how USC works or how research works. It's also about your personality and how you put it forward confidently. Make sure that you also know whatever you mention in your CV. Do not fake it, and if you fake it perfectly at least. I think lots of guidance from Sardi. You will be well prepared if you have someone like Pawan beside you. So that's good.
Thank you, Srikar. And Srikar is one of the most humble students you will ever get. He pre-matched for those of you who missed it, and you're starting in New York, right?
Yep, I'm gonna be here.
Okay. Let's move on. So Marcellina also wanted to talk about the personal statement and CV. So welcome, Marcellina. Why don't you introduce yourself? You also have a very unique profile. So I think students would want to know who you are and then talk about your experiences.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pavan, for having me. This is a great opportunity. I am Marcellina Nwosu, originally from Nigeria, but I went to school in the Caribbean. I have my bachelor's degree and master's degree in nursing, nurse practitioner. I did MBA in healthcare management with my medical school. I work as a nurse practitioner, and I've been working as a nurse practitioner for 10 years in interventional pain and primary care. But the CV and personal statement, as you know, is the pivotal, is components of your residency application. And your CV can determine, your personal statement also can determine if you get an interview or not. Yes, especially your CV. And the goal of preparing a strong CV and a well-done CV is starting early. If you start early, you will catch mistakes and you will be able to correct those mistakes. And if there is a gap in your CV that you need to fill that will make you a stronger candidate, is when you start early, you are able to figure out those gaps and fill them before you submit your application. So in my own case, I started in May. I constructed the draft of my CV and my personal statement. I met with my mentor. Thank God, because I have also my own ups and downs in residency journey, and thank God I was able to eventually join Sarthi. I joined Sarthi last year, and that's when I knew about them. And with the help of my mentor, this year we are able to, I met with her the last week of May, and I sent her my draft of my CV and personal statement. And I remember on that meeting, she told me, Marcellina, you have a lot of experience, and your personal statement is, you're not selling yourself on the personal statement. I want you to rewrite it. I want you to give me your journey, your career journey. And that's what I did. I rewrote my personal statement and my CV. In fact, when you are an old graduate, you have wealth of knowledge that you have to fit in under 10 things, which is what ERAS wants you to do right now. 10 experiences, that's it. But you have to fit those in because you can't leave them out. So when you start early, you find out a way to put them in, which is what I did. And then being able to do that and being able to, send it back to my mentor, and she was like, okay, Marcellina, this looks good, And then my personal I know my CV, she was like, I don't know how you're gonna fit in your experiences, but I was able to do it because I started early, and when I sent it to her, she's like, oh my gosh, you fit everything in. But the goal of that is like, because I started early. And I was able to find a way to fit all those experiences in, sell myself in my CV. And then my personal statement told my career journey. And I remember one of my interviewer was like, oh, I remember you. You are the one with the short CV, with the short personal statement, but we were able to pick up everything we needed in that personal statement. So you want to say yourself with that too. And the goal of that, like I said, start early, do your personal statement, do your CV, go over them, proofread them, send it for corrections, meet with your mentor, see what is missing, and then put that in. And by the time you finish doing all these things, you are coming up with strong personal statement and CV. And then Sarthi made it also easy that you can also submit your personal statement up to twice for them to go through it and see what is missing. So in my own case, my CV, like I was like, I'm going to apply for family medicine this year, and I have to. And what I did is like, within that period, I realized that, okay, I haven't, my last family medicine rotation was like a year ago. I need another one. So because I started early, I was able to dictate that, and I did. I scheduled it immediately, and I was able to do that. And those people, when I finished with them, I did 2 weeks of rotation with them. They were like, don't worry, we're gonna give you a strong recommendation letter, and it's gonna be personalized to personal statement. And I needed 2 recommendation letters. 2 of those physicians volunteered at the end of that and gave me that. Is because I started early. They were able to do that and send it in. And then I also add that to your personal CV as well. And this is the goal of doing that. Start early, work hard, start back. You can start in June, which is good. And then you can take it and all the way proofread and send it to Sarthi, send it, meet with your mentor and see what is missing, see if there is any gap, fill it out as soon as possible. And why is it important to prepare your CV early? Is because during your program outreach, which is also important, which has helped me secure interviews this year, is that you start back in June and start your outreach letter. And that outreach letter, you have to highlight the points. What you are asking this in PD, am I a good fit for your program? Because I want to be trained in your program. And then your CV, you have to attach your CV in that outreach letter. And so if you don't prepare your CV before you send the outreach letter, so you are still starting. So when you send it back in June with your CV and send it again in August with your CV, they already know about you. Like one of my colleagues said, Dr. Sarah said, the first week of the application, you submit the application, I promise you, you are highly likely to get an interview invitation because they know a lot of things about you already. So start early, proofread, and meet with your mentor, send it to Sarthi, and attach it to your to your outreach letters. And that's my advice to you people. And this is what has helped me this season, thanks to Sarthi.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marcellina, for this very comprehensive discussion. And I know the panelists are answering the chat questions, so we'll probably not take a break. But before I move on to the next session, which is another one, Leena, did you want to talk about off-cycle positions? We have spoken a lot about program outreach, but I think off-cycle positions, if you want to talk about.
Yeah, of course. First I do want to, I agree with everyone here. I don't think I would have matched twice or gone any positions without Sarthi. The mentors are extremely helpful, and I wouldn't know how to, even approach my personal statement or my ERAS CV and then, address any red flags that I had. So I think that was fundamental in applying to even off-cycle positions. So what I did for off-cycle positions when I didn't match the first time was after SOAP, there's something called Find a Resident, and you can upload your CV. I think it's automatically transferred. The one thing I would recommend is try to get all of your letters of recommendation with you, have a copy of them. Ask your letter writers if you can have a copy. Some of them are going to say no, and that's fine. But the ones who, if you're, the ones where you can get them, just make a whole profile of something, have something on your computer. So you can upload that on to Find a Resident. Networking is really important because you need references, you need their numbers, you need their emails. And it's basically a program where program directors who are needing a PGY1 or a PGY2 can reach out to you. So during my journey, I did this in March, and in June or July, I believe, that year, I was approached for a PGY2 family medicine position. And, unfortunately, I didn't make that interview. And so that's fine. I had another interview at an off-cycle position, but this time I used Resident Swap, and I apply, you get 3 months and it's $130. And so, I just constantly wrote letters of interest with my, selling points, and I gave them my ERAS CV and my personal statement, and along with everything else that they asked. And, I used to send them individually as files, but later I learned through Sarthi that, maybe a zip file would be better. It's more clear. It's more, just concise, and it doesn't look so messy, but either way. So it was in July I started doing that. And, every month I would send out 20 emails, any new positions, I would re-message them. And, I got a couple program directors call me, ask me if I was interested in the program. So there was some interest in my application. But I think for me, it was the interview where I really needed to work on. However, with Sarthi, with proper interview prep, someone on Resident Swap, actually associate program director reached out to me. So I'm messaging both whoever's emails out on Resident Swap. I just emailed everybody. And someone reached out to me and they asked me for a program director letter, which is really important if you're applying to PGY2 positions. So, you know, I kindly asked them to just kind of get that from the ERAS CV to speed up things. And I had an interview or a little meet and greet with the PD of the program. And within a couple of days, she said that she would want to offer that program. So, you know, using things like Find a Resident, Resident Swap, Outside the Match. So I did pay for a lot of these things just because, you know, I really was trying to match to PGY2 position. But so and then Sarthi group always has like a bunch of things which I think they get for, you know, they get from the Outside the Match or Resident Swap, or I don't know, but they also post a lot of things which I applied for. So that's really how off-cycle positions work. So yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that video provided valuable insights for your journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And check out our website for details on how we can guide you to a successful match.